so heavy. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. Today I'm filming my March wrap up and it was a pretty good month. I chose my TBR randomly this month and I actually really liked doing it this way. I think I have come to the conclusion that I'm not a mood reader because I picked like any of these books up and just read right through them without a problem. So before I get into it, I just want to let you guys know, if you're ever feeling generous, I have my Amazon book wish list down in the description. So maybe go check it out, see if there's a book on there that you like and you want me to read. Just thought I'd throw that out there, but don't feel pressured. So this month was actually pretty good. I think I have 3 5-star reads, maybe 2, but like that's good for me. Normally I don't give books 5 stars. Also, if I'm looking down here, it's because I have my laptop with all my notes. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the first book that I read, which was The Vanishing by Maureen Johnson. This is part of a YA series. This is the second in the series, so I'll tell you guys what the first is about, but I don't want to spoil the second. So the first one is a mystery series that takes place at a boarding school. This boarding school has like a bunch of secrets and mysteries and riddles, and our main character Stevie wants to find the answers to everything. She is so interested in the history of the school and the crimes that happened in the school, so that's kind of the story it takes. She follows the mystery and tries to solve it. I liked this book, just not as much as the first one. It felt a little slower and it took longer to get into like the actual meat of the plot, but even though the plot didn't develop that fast, I still found this book like so addicting. I just wanted to like keep turning the page and I never wanted to put this book down. And that's how I felt about the first one too. Like something about this series is so addicting. Like I just wanted to keep reading it. So I'm definitely gonna continue the series. I also own all the books in the series, so might as well, even if I didn't like it. But I do like it and I recommend it, but read the first one, obviously. Then I read Bad Girl Reputation, which is Then I read Bad Girl Reputation, which was also 3.7 stars. This is by Elle Kennedy. This is the second book in a companion novel series. They're like standalones that are intertwined. So I would still read the first one first though. This book is a second chance romance between 2 exes, and these 2 are like magnets. They cannot be separated, but when they are together, nothing good comes from it. It also takes place in a cute little beachy town, and I really like the vibes. Perfect for summer. I liked the first one better. Good Girl Complex. Yeah, I liked that one better. I just liked the trope better, but this one was still good. I also liked how we got a decent amount of Mac and Cooper in the second book. Those were the 2 main characters from the first book, and it was nice like seeing them again. The characters in this book seemed a bit immature, but I wasn't going into it thinking it was going to be a 5-star read, so I honestly didn't even mind it that much. Next, we have Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I finally got around to reading this book. I feel like everyone has already read it, but this book I gave a 4.75 stars, which I know these ratings seem so specific, but it all makes sense in my head. And when you read so many books, I feel like you need to do quarter stars. You know what I mean? But this book is about a girl named Anastasia and Nate. She's a figure skater and he is an ice hockey player, and at their college they have 2 rinks, but one of them gets shut down, and then the hockey players and the figure skaters have to share a rink. Stassi's partner becomes injured, so Nate kind of has to step in and fill the role, and she's trying to make the Olympics. I liked the book and I thought it was super cute. Nate's character is like golden retriever boy, so I did really like that, but I do think it could have been like 100 pages shorter. I felt like there were some irrelevant side plots that didn't need to be there, and I just kept wondering like, when is this gonna end? But I still did like it. It was also pretty spicy, so keep that in mind. Then I read After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book, I think I gave it 3.75 stars. Yeah, I did. This book is about a married couple who falls out of love, so they decide to take a 1-year break from each other where they will have absolutely no contact, and then after this break they're gonna come back together and see if they want to stay married, which sounds like a interesting way to do it, to say the least. I didn't think this book was horrible, but I expected better from TJR. She's one of my favorite authors, and this one was just a little bit disappointing, but it's nothing compared to Malibu Rising, which I will be the first to say I hated that book. So I don't know. Somehow the book was still kind of interesting, even though literally nothing was happening since it was a year of them being apart. I was still pretty hooked. I finished the book in only a couple of days, so something had to have been going on, but I literally couldn't tell you what. I felt like the ending was kind of rushed too. It literally just like came out of nowhere, so that's another reason why I docked it down. Then I picked up Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is another book I've been wanting to read for so freaking long, and I'm so glad I did. I gave this one 4.75 stars. This book is about Liz, and her childhood crush moves back into her neighborhood, and she recruits her next door neighbor Wes to help her get in Michael's radar. Basically, they hang out together a bunch to scheme different ways to get Michael to notice her, and she realizes maybe she's with the wrong guy. I thought this book was so cute and just like fluffy. It's a very typical YA high school romance, and I absolutely loved it. Sometimes I'm in the mood for just like a cutesy little romance, and this one hit the spot. It literally just felt like a movie, which I've heard compared to The Death, so maybe I was just thinking about that, but it was a movie. I didn't give it 5 stars though, because I didn't have that feeling, you know? And then I read Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. This is a bind-up of 3 of her novellas, and they're all about women in STEM. This I gave a 3.75 stars. I think for what it is, it was fine. Obviously, it's a bunch of novellas, so the stories were shorter, so I feel like you couldn't really connect to the characters since each story was only like a little over 100 pages. Also, since the stories were so short, it felt very insta-lovey, which is to be expected, but it's not my favorite trope. Also, for some reason, I had no idea that these 3 stories were connected. The 3 girls in the stories were all friends back in grad school, so they're like all connected. I didn't realize that at first, but it was cute. Then I read Everything I Know About Love by Dolly. I was looking for these tabs. Well, that's exciting. I read Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, and obviously I annotated this book. And I annotated it a decent amount. This book is a memoir by Dolly Alderton, obviously, and she details her life up to, I think, age 30, I'm pretty sure. And she talks about everything from love to life to her job and friends. Obviously, I didn't give this book a rating because it's her life and it's not really fair to rate someone else's life, but I did really like it, clearly. Some of the quotes in this book I think about like every day, so that's how you know it's a good book. It reminded me a lot of My Year of Rest and Relaxation. That book is fiction and this one's not, obviously, but the writing is kind of similar. They both tell the story of a person's life very like seriously, but through humor. I don't know, I just really liked it. So if you liked My Year of Rest and Relaxation, definitely pick this up, and vice versa. I feel like I learned so much from this book, and I'm so happy I read it. I totally recommend this. Next, I read Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this book was a 5 stars from me. I just really liked it. This book is about 2 people who meet on New Year's Eve, I'm pretty sure, and they fell in love. It was a little insta-lovey, but in this case, I really liked it. Within 6 months, they get married. And the husband, Ben, he doesn't tell his mom because she just lost her husband, Ben's dad. So he doesn't want her to feel like she's being forgotten about and like placed on the back burner. So he doesn't get the chance to tell his mom that he's married, and he dies. He is biking to the grocery store to pick something up for his wife, and he is struck by a car and killed on impact. So the wife shows up to the hospital and the mom's there, and she's never met the mom, and the mom's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm his wife." And the book is dual plot, so it shows like how they fell in love, and then also shows after Ben died and how the mom and the wife kind of build a relationship and how they go about that. This book was so good. Like, it touched me right here in my little heart. Watching the relationship between the wife and the mom like blossom was so sweet and wholesome, and I just loved it. And it also feels so realistic about how someone goes through grief, which I also really liked about this book. I just felt so connected to the characters, and I really felt for them, so definitely pick this up. It was so good. Then I read My Son Marshall, My Son Eminem by Debbie Nelson. I said in my March TBR how this is such a random book. I've had this book for years. It's about Eminem the rapper, and is told from the perspective of his mom and what it was like as he was coming to fame, and kind of how their relationship was affected by that. I thought that it was interesting to see her perspective of things that I've only ever heard about in his music, so that was kind of cool, but I took everything with like a little grain of salt because I know, or at least he thinks she's kind of crazy, so I don't know who to believe. I also didn't rate this book because, again, it's an autobiography. I'm not gonna rate someone else's life. And then I read Magnolia Parks. This was by far a 5-star book. This is another book that I annotated this month. This book was so freaking good. So good. It's about Magnolia and BJ, and it is literally the epitome of Gossip Girl. Like, this book is Gossip Girl in book form. Magnolia and BJ used to date. BJ broke Magnolia's heart because he cheated on her, and now they're like trying to get back at each other, but they're still so in love. I know some people don't like this book because they say it's toxic, and it totally is, but if you go into it knowing that, then you know what you're getting yourself into. Like, you know it's gonna be toxic. The quotes in this book are so good. I find myself thinking about these characters all the time and thinking about the quotes and just obsessing over it. The way Jessa Hastings writes is so good. Like, I never wanted to put this book down, and I kept wanting to know like what was gonna happen. Whenever I was busy throughout the day, I like found myself craving this book. Like, I just wanted to go and read so bad, and that's how you know a book is good. Did I buy the other 3 books in the series instead of groceries this week? Yes. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. I cannot wait. Then I picked up Roomies by Christina Lauren. 2 stars. I honestly kind of hated this book. This book is about Holland, and her uncle is a Broadway musical director. And Holland has a crush on a guitarist who plays in the subway. And her uncle is in need of a new lead for his show. So she recruits this guitarist, but he can't play because he's in the States illegally. So they get married. So clearly it's a marriage of convenience trope, which I don't know, I didn't like it. Christina Lauren has written some killer books, but this was not one of them. This was definitely a miss for me, and do I recommend it? Not really. Would I recommend other of their books? Absolutely. So I was so disappointed. And then lastly, this makes me so sad, but I read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and I can't believe it's over. I'm so sad. I'm not gonna tell you what it's about because, well, it's the 7th book of a series, obviously, and I'm sure everyone knows what Harry Potter is about, but I did really like this book. I gave it a 4.7 stars. I really liked it. I just was so sad that there was no Hogwarts in it. Like, the vibes of them at Hogwarts is so unmatched. So that was a little bit of a bummer. I still did really like it though. And the epilogue was so cute. Like, I really loved it. But I can't believe it's over. So sad. So those were the 12, I think, books I read in March. I actually read every single book on my TBR, which pretty good. I think for April, I'm gonna randomly choose my TBR again because that was so fun. And it really led me to read books that I've been putting off. So stay tuned for that video. It will be coming very soon. And if you like this, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment, subscribe. You know what to do. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you so soon with my next one. Bye-bye.